Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from the Horn of Africa, where Somalia's president has paid a visit to Turkey amid growing threats from Al-Shabaab terrorists. Now, Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud met with his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara on Thursday. The two leaders discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral ties between Mogadishu and Turkey, as Ankara expands its diplomatic and military presence across Africa. Now, Turkey confirms that the discussions included expanded cooperation in counter-terrorism, with Erdogan reaffirming Ankara's commitment to supporting Somalia's security and stability. Now, reports indicate that Somalia and Turkey are close to finalizing a major defense pact, which could significantly boost Somalia's fight against Al-Shabaab. Turkey is also reportedly preparing to deploy hundreds of elite special forces equipped with advanced military technology to provide direct operational support. One of the most critical developments under discussion is the possible establishment of a joint military base in the Middle Shabelle region, a strategic location in Somalia's battle against Al-Shabaab. Now, Turkey already operates its largest overseas military base in Mogadishu. Meanwhile, reports suggest that President Mohamud may declare a state of emergency upon his return to Somalia, a move that would mark a major escalation in Mogadishu's military campaign. However, both Somalia and Turkish officials have yet to confirm these reports. Now, Somalia has faced a wave of attacks from Al-Shabaab in recent months, prompting a stepped-up ground and air offensive against the terrorists. Turkey has been one of the strongest foreign backers of Somalia's security efforts, as a part of its broadening strategic partnership with Mogadishu. Turkey and Somalia signed a defense and economic cooperation agreement last year. Ankara has been training Somali soldiers since 2017. It has also provided advanced Bayraktar drones to Somalia and is also reportedly supplying the T-129 attack helicopters to fight the terrorists. Beyond military assistance, Turkey has made major investments in Somalia's infrastructure, healthcare, and economy. It has also played a key role in mediating peace talks between Somalia and its rival Ethiopia. But if Turkey does deploy troops to Somalia, it would come at a challenging time for Erdogan, who is already facing persistent protests at home in recent days. This after the arrest of his biggest political rival. Moreover, Ankara's growing role in Somalia has also drawn scrutiny, particularly from the United States, a longtime security partner of Mogadishu. Washington sees Turkey's expanding presence as a potential challenge to Western interests in the region. With Turkey expanding its footprint in Somalia, it signals a shift in the region's power dynamics. Will this partnership bring stability, or will it spark new rivalries in the Horn of Africa? Now, to discuss more on this, we have with us Mohamud, a senior East Africa analyst at Crisis Group, who is joining us live from Maputo in Mozambique. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, what are the strategic implications of Somalia deepening its military cooperation with Turkey, particularly the reported deployment of Turkish special forces and the establishment of a joint military base?
So I think some of what's been reported needs to be confirmed. You know, there's a lot of misinformation and rumors also flying out, and we don't know exactly what the nature of the discussions just most recently between Somalia and Turkey have been. But what is clear is Turkey has been a major partner for Somalia and an increasing partner, and really becoming the go-to partner for Somalia in a lot of ways. So when we saw the issues between Somalia and Ethiopia last year, over this question of sea access, it was Turkey that mediated an agreement there. It was also Turkey that stepped in before that to come to Somalia's aid. And so I think, this is another point where Somalia is quite vulnerable right now because they've suffered a lot of attacks in Middle Shabelle region in particular from Al-Shabaab. And so they're looking to Turkey once again. And so I think it really symbolizes how Turkey has become the go-to partner for Somalia these days.
Absolutely. And given President Mahmoud's expected declaration of a state of emergency, how might this impact Somalia's fight against Al-Shabaab and ISIS? And what role could Turkey play in stabilizing that situation?
So again, let's see what happens when he comes back into Somalia. But the main point is that over the past basically month or so, Al-Shabaab's launched an offensive and really a counter-offensive to the government's offensive against it a couple years ago. And they've been trying to claw back some of the territories that the government took in central Somalia in particular. And so this has caught the government a bit off guard, and at a time where it is politically fragmented. We have elections coming up in a year, and they've been the source of a lot of dispute. So I think what we have here is a situation where Somalia is looking for greater external support. Now, what could Turkey provide that it hasn't already been providing? It's already been training the Somali National Army. It's already provided a good deal of equipment, including high-tech drones and whatnot. So maybe we see a ramping up of some of those aspects. But the struggles that Somalia has faced here against Al-Shabaab, they're more political. They're more related to a war strategy around Al-Shabaab. They're more related to ensuring the Somali National Army has good leadership and is both well supplied also. And so, I think one thing Somalia has basically gotten from a lot of its external supports partners is a good deal of support, particularly within the frame of the air power and also in terms of training of the army. But none of that's a substitute for a true political strategy on the ground. If the country is divided, if communities are divided, then it's going to be very difficult for Somalia, regardless of who's supporting it, to make progress.
Right. And in your view, how does Turkey's support for Somalia's security and economic development, as you've mentioned there, align with Turkey's broader geopolitical ambitions in the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea region?
Well, I think Turkey sees Somalia as a strategic location. It's not just about its maritime passageways that it borders. It also is sitting there right on the Indian Ocean. It's also long coastline into the Horn of Africa and even beyond. And I think very early on, Turkey identified Somalia as a useful strategic location in order to invest. And we've seen those investments multiply over the years. There's business investments in terms of ports and airports. This goes beyond that to natural resources now. Turkey is exploring offshore oil gas, also involved in the fishery. There's also talk of a spaceport being built here in Somalia also. And so I think part of that is Somalia's location itself. Part of it is Turkey needs to also ensure that these investments are secured as well, given the state that we see of conflict in Somalia. And then part of it, I think, is an entry point to other parts of whether the Horn of Africa or even beyond the African continent. So Turkey has seen Somalia as a strategic location to basically a jumping off point to other areas.
Omar, thank you for being with us on Firstpost Africa.
Thank you for having me.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
The Prime Minister Modi.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers
who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.